There's a couple of great books on people who have survived many great crises. And I've survived, you know, I've got gunshot wounds, third-degree burns, I've been poisoned, I've been through a lot of stuff. I guess I have that attitude. But that's because I've always believed that there was a way that I was going to get out of it, and I refused to give up hope. Not everybody's going to get out of it, but what the people who believe that technology is somehow going to solve our energy crisis don't understand is what people are now expecting is for technology to overturn the laws of the universe that make technology work. Technology only works because we have laws of particle physics, which govern electricity. We have laws of gravity. We have laws of thermodynamics. That's what makes technology work. Now what people are saying is come up with some technology that voids all those other laws that make technology work. So maybe that wasn't clear in the movie.
What is your hope in?
What is my hope in?
Yes.
Finding the 100th monkey. Okay. My hope is in, you know, I'm 58 years old. I'm not going to survive this. Okay? My hope is that we can teach enough people so that we can save enough lives. The question is not whether there's going to be a die-off. It's going to be how severe it is and who pays the price. And do we really want the Bush family and their DNA to become the legacy of the human race? Sorry. Yeah, I'll take you, then we'll go to the back.
The movie just kind of shows it like the wheels falling off with the oil dwindling.
Yeah.
But I've always thought that there's going to be a war between China and us, or China and the Soviet Union, or both.
I doubt it, because warfare now is basically economic. I wouldn't rule out a war, but if I was to pick places for wars right now, I'd look to Pakistan and India.
But we've run out of oil before a big showdown could ever happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, there might be a war, and I've done a lot of work, I did a lot of work researching piracy around the east coast of Africa, the Horn of Africa. And, you know, they've had a lot of piracy off of Ethiopia and so on. Well, that's all centered around the Persian Gulf and the Straits of Hormuz. About, I think it's 25% of the world's oil flows through there on a daily basis. You've got like 11 navies now. Picture 5 wet cats tied in a burlap sack. That's what that's looking like. You don't know how that's going to play. But China has no reason to attack us. They're going to own us soon anyway, okay? But China knows, China gets peak oil. They've been hoarding commodities, and they've been buying up all the commodities they can buy, whether it's iron or tungsten or manganese or concrete. They understand peak everything. And China now is getting ready to dump the dollar. Why do they want to fight us and risk Chinese lives? All they got to do is stop buying T-bills and we're fucked anyway. It's a lot simpler than that. There's a hand way in the back. There's somebody with light blue. Yeah.
Okay. Mike, I've known you a while.
Oh, it's Carol.
Yeah. But part of it is because you influenced a lot of us to become the 9/11 truth. And it's just really amazing to see that documentary and have no mention whatsoever of 9/11 except one little segment where you talk about Bush and Cheney and say, I don't want to go there. So is there a very strategic intellectual reason that you
I
avoided?
severed myself from you and the 9/11 truth movement 5 years ago because you were chasing blind alleys that were never going to produce results anyway. I've never argued building collapse because you can't admit it into a court of law. I've never argued no plane hit the Pentagon. What I said real clearly was I wrote a book called Crossing the Rubicon, and I proved Dick Cheney committed murder without tainted evidence and poison pills and government disinformation and anything else. But 9/11 is dead. This is the collapse of human industrial civilization. With respect, with respect, the 9/11 truth.
You answered my question. I have another question.
Okay.
Okay. I made, $7 million of these deception dollars to get out information that wasn't available in the corporate media.
Right.
But before 9/11, I was working on monetary reform. And in the last year with the financial collapse, I've been drawn back to doing work in that area. And we created some other dollars, conception dollars, looking at going from empire to community. And I'm printing a new one now, and it's going to be called a perception dollar, with like a keyhole, a vision of the future that we'd like to see, and with solution websites on it.
Good.
So what I wanted to ask you about your book is, people are, they don't want to go to the darkness, they don't want to know the shadow, but they do want solutions. They do see that the empire is collapsing. So what are the best, are all the stuff in there looking mainly at the shadow stuff, or is it real practical?
It's practical.
Practical.
25 practical points, distilled, easy to read. You don't need anything more than high school mathematics to pick it up and start doing stuff tomorrow. And out of those 25 points, you can find plenty of things to do. That book was needed. And what you asked about, Carol, you're right. You need the practical stuff, and here it is. It's the best I can give. I'm never going to be able to say it any better than I said it in this book. And you don't have any more time to write another book anyway. It's happening too fast anyway. Let me take this lady right here.
Is there any truth to all the stories going around that there are these incredible energy sources?
No.
So you talk about the
Read the book. I answered it in here, yes.
you talk about the Rockefellers and the Bushes. So when a collapse happens and the dust is settled, what makes you think that the people who hold the power now will still hold the power?
They're dinosaurs. They can't adapt. They're losing control. Okay? They have created an infinite growth paradigm, which they have milked. And, you know, they've got a plan for their survival, but the idea is we don't want them to be in control, do we? We don't need them to be in control. And until you change, it's one of my signature lines for the last 6, 7 years, until you change the way money works, you change nothing. I've carried it as far as I can. You're younger than I am, but you're going to have kids someday, and it's going to be up to you and your kids to use this information and whatever else you get from Transition Towns, Post-Carbon Institute, all of the great research that's out there on peak oil and sustainability to make sure that they don't. That's what we don't want to have. And you know, this is a relay. In other words, I got to pass the baton at some point. You've had 30 years out of me, and I've given you my blood, my heart, and everything else. So what I want to do is for you guys to take this information and the book, and then go to the Collapse Movie website. If you want to know more about peak oil and sustainability, there's 15, 20 of the best websites in the world. There's millions of us around the world, but mainstream media would have us all believe we're isolated kooks. It's not true. There's millions of us. There are transition movements in countries all over the world. And some cities, San Francisco and Portland, are probably the 2 most advanced cities in the world in terms of their thinking. San Francisco knows peak oil is here. Portland knows peak oil is here. I interviewed John Hickenlooper of Denver some years ago. They know it's here. But they're in various stages of planning for it. But what you have in San Francisco, man, is this just amazing freedom, this amazing tolerance, this amazing willingness to listen to anything here. Hey, I'm from Venice, California. We're right there with you, I'm telling you. Because if you don't fit in San Francisco, come to Venice. You'll be right at home. Let me take one on. We need to stop?
Yeah.
Already? All right. Go outside and buy books. Do show.